won. You danced like you conquered me. But here's the truth. I let you taste victory just to watch what you do with it. I watched you, not out of weakness, out of curiosity. I gave you space. I gave you trust. I gave you time. And with every second you thought the silence meant surrender. You confused mercy with defeat. But here's what you didn't know. I built this game long before you learned how to play it. You were celebrating checkmate. I was 3 boards deeper, playing a war you didn't even know existed. You see, I study people, not just their moves, their motives. I don't react to actions. I wait for patterns. And you showed me everything I needed to know when you thought you were winning. The way you walked differently, spoke louder, laughed with just a bit more venom. You forgot humility the moment you felt power. And that was your final mistake. Because real power doesn't boast. It builds, quietly, strategically, ruthlessly. I let you win just to watch how you handle a crown you didn't earn. You weren't crowned king. You just borrowed the throne from someone who stepped back to load the cannon. I trusted you, and you mistook it for vulnerability. I slowed down, and you thought I was tired. I stayed silent, and you thought I was finished. But a storm doesn't need to announce itself. It arrives, and it leaves nothing standing. You played well, but you were still playing. I was orchestrating. You saw a few moves ahead. I saw through the entire board, every angle, every misstep, every moment of arrogance you let slip when you thought I was down. You should have stayed humble. You should have remembered who taught you how to fight. Now, I'm not coming back to compete. I'm coming to end the game. I didn't lose. I handed you the sword just to see if you'd guard me or gut me. You chose the second. Now I choose how this ends. There's a special kind of silence that follows betrayal. It's not sadness. It's not anger. It's clarity. I saw your colors, not in your weakness, but in your victory. Because true character shows itself when the world stops doubting you. And when you thought you had won, you finally stopped pretending. That's when I saw it. The hunger, the ego, the slow grin of a man who thought he got away with cutting the hand that fed him. You held the knife I gave you and used it against me. I watched you dance, celebrating a war you never truly fought. You were never a warrior. You were a thief with confidence and just enough charm to fake honor. But the truth, it always slips out. And it did. In every smirk, in every twisted half-lie you thought I wouldn't catch. You thought I didn't see, that I didn't hear the echo behind your praise. I heard it all. Because silence has a way of amplifying truth. You thought you were climbing. You didn't realize the ladder was mine. You laughed like a conqueror, forgetting who gave you the sword in the first place. You don't betray someone like me and get peace. You don't fake loyalty and expect silence forever. You don't rob me blind, then dare to ask what's missing. I saw it all, and I said nothing, because I needed to see how far you'd go before you crashed face first into the wall I built years ago. You were never a threat. You were just a reminder, a brutal lesson that even the closest can carry poison, and I thank you for that. You sharpened me. With every betrayal, every fake smile, every time you clapped while secretly hoping I'd fall, you gave me fuel. Now, I'm not angry. I'm not vengeful. I'm cold. Because when trust is burned, what remains is clarity and fire. You played yourself, and I let you. Because part of being unstoppable is knowing who not to stop. Let them win early. Let them flex. Let them choke on their moment. Because when the real move lands, It's not personal. It's surgical. I'm not coming to argue. I'm coming to reclaim everything. You danced with my blade. Now watch how I move with yours. You were too busy playing the part to realize I was writing the ending. Now the lights dim, the act ends, and the king walks in. This isn't about proving a point anymore. This is about putting a period where someone tried to place a crown. You thought you had the last word. You thought that flash of victory was yours to keep. You thought I stepped away because I was beaten. I stepped away so you could reveal your full self. Unfiltered, unsupervised, exposed. And you did. You climbed higher than you were meant to. Built illusions on borrowed time. Acted like you owned the kingdom while the real king studied the map. Now here we are. The room's quiet again. Your followers faded. Your voice shaky. That throne too heavy for your shoulders. Because the game isn't just about playing it well. It's about surviving it. I let you feel power just long enough to bury yourself beneath it. Now I move, not with anger, but with intention. Because I don't come to compete, I come to conclude. There's no rage left in me, only calculation, only resolve. The kind of resolve that doesn't speak in warnings, doesn't argue in comments, doesn't need witnesses, just results. And here's the coldest truth. You never owned anything. You were living on a leash, mistaking it for freedom. Every step you took was inside my blueprint. Every fake move, every cheap win. I saw it coming. I wasn't watching the board. I was watching you. Now, you don't get closure. You get consequences. You get the silence of a man who's already rewritten the ending. You get to watch what legacy looks like when it's not watered down by betrayal, not distracted by ego, not bent for applause. You get to see what real fire looks like. Not the flash of a liar, but the furnace of a master. You thought you were writing a story. You didn't realize I was writing your epilogue. So now sit, watch, take notes if you want. This is how it ends for people who confuse mercy with weakness. This is how the quiet ones come back. Not to talk, not to teach, to finish it. To put the world back in balance. To reclaim what should never have been touched. To bury the lie. With truth so loud, it doesn't need volume. You think the story was about you? It never was. You were just a chapter. One that ends here. The game is over. The mask is off. And the fire, unstoppable. You chased applause. I bled for honor. That's the difference. One fades when the crowd goes home. The other stays etched into your soul. You thought it was about dominance. You thought this was about winning. No. This was always about honor. That ancient code, the invisible crown, the heavy weight you wear in silence because it's not for display, it's for direction. While you scrambled for attention, I stood still for discipline. You flexed for noise. I suffered for meaning. You played the role. I carried the responsibility. Honor isn't a word. It's a burden. A man doesn't earn it with victory. He earns it in how he handles loss. And I took mine like steel, bent, but never broken, bruised, but still marching. Because when everything else is stripped, honor remains. I didn't keep my silence because I was scared. I kept it because I remembered who I was. I didn't retaliate when you stabbed me with lies. Because I knew my truth didn't need defending. It just needed time. Time to show that a man who moves with honor outlasts the ones who only chase glory. You thought power was what made you strong. But power without principles, that's a weapon without aim. You looked like a king, But real kings bleed for their code. They don't chase crowns. They become the reason the crown exists. And me, I held the line. I walked through your betrayal without lowering myself to your level. Not because I couldn't, but because I still believed in something. Something colder, something sharper, something ancient. Honor. That's the part you'll never understand. Honor isn't what makes you rich. It's what makes you immortal. It's what gets whispered about after you leave the room. It's what keeps your name in the mouths of men who never even met you. Because your conduct wrote its own legend. You thought I was weak because I didn't react. But it takes more strength to stand still in fire than to scream in the smoke. I absorbed it all. The lies, the humiliation, the exile, and I turned it into presence. Now when I walk in, I don't bring noise. I bring weight. You chase reputation. I defend legacy. You wanted followers. I built foundations. Because reputation is what people think you are. Honor is what you are when no one's watching. I let you think you won. Because I didn't want a cheap victory. I wanted the kind that can't be stolen. The kind that builds disciples, not spectators. I'm not here to flex. I'm here to remind. There's still one kind of man this world can't break. The man who wakes up every day with pain in his chest, but purpose in his spine. The one who chooses code over comfort. The one who lets go of revenge because his legacy is bigger than his enemies. So don't confuse my silence for surrender. It's discipline, it's focus, it's conviction. I let you dance because I knew the floor wouldn't hold your lies forever. Now, I walk through the ashes wearing the only armor that matters, honor, and that you'll never own.